everyone, my name is Alicia Jackson, licensed professional counselor, and today we are reviewing Married at First Sight, season 14, episode 5. My goodness, this episode. But before we get into it, please, of course, subscribe to the channel, like the video to help me out in these algorithm streets. Now, I am restructuring how I am doing the reviews for Married at First Sight. They're going to be quick reviews, straight to the point. Before I would go through the whole episode and kind of just do my reactions to each thing as it's happening. But I noticed that I want to restructure that and keep it short. Keep it sweet. Okay? The show itself is 2 hours. That's enough. That's enough. So we're going to keep it short and keep it focused. All right? So the first couple we're going to do is Noi and Steve. And so what stood out for me in this episode is it seems like Noi and Steve are in a good spot. They are getting to know each other. And Noi is feeling a lot of safety and comfort in that, right? So she's feeling her heart being able to develop feelings without much hesitancy. But I think she's just excited, where she's feeling like she is in a place of falling in love or getting to that place. I just think she's excited and really liking him, right? So she's in like an infatuation, extreme like, and maybe she might experience her emotions a little bit higher level than most. Some people lead with their emotions. Some people lead with logic. And it seems like Steve leads with logic. He's like, hey, we haven't even known each other. This was at their dinner out on the beach. We've only known each other 3 days. So we don't even know each other enough to say, here is all of me, my real raw self, to know if we really love each other. Which is, now that's he's spitting facts with that. So I think they just need to take their time. And again, Noi needs to be mindful that Steve, I don't know if they've had a conversation off camera about his employment, but my hope is that they have before her feelings get all involved and wrapped in. Also, we learned that both of them have been unfaithful in previous relationships, but they both stated that these things happened when they were younger, and so it's both something that they don't really feel like is a concern about their character. So we'll see how it goes and keep moving on. All right, next couple, Jasmina and Michael. So Michael, we left off with the disagreement, which was like a little tiff, as Michael described it, and I agree with him. I get the sense that, and Jasmina did admit to it, that she was holding on to what his sister said, that he has a tendency to think the worst out of situations and kind of get focused on that. Well, I also see the same thing happening for Jasmina as well, as she's kind of fixating on this and trying to change him. This is Michael's way of protecting himself. He disclosed it, and this is something I said in even last week's video, that he has experienced a lot of loss, the murder of his brother. Both of his parents have passed, and so it's a way he protects himself. Now, is it the best way? Absolutely not. I think the worst case scenario sometimes can put you in a place where you are making more of something than what it is. I feel like for a lot of the couples, because this is just starting out, they're scared. And so they're either thinking everything's going to be great, like Noi, or they're thinking, oh my God, everything's not going to be great, like Michael. And so coming from a center place and just taking it one day at a time. In a situation where Michael stated that Jasmina cut him off, they played the footage back and then he paused, right? So we don't know if he had a second sentence in his mind that he was trying to work out, and he's a quiet guy, so it's potentially, but from Jasmina's perspective, she thought he was done. He's asking for an apology, a sincere apology of not, I'm sorry if you felt that way, but I'm sorry that I cut you off, or I'm sorry that what I did hurt your feelings. And she's saying that she doesn't feel like she has to do this. I disagree. If your partner, your friend, your child, anyone you are relating with says that you did something that hurt them, then you have to acknowledge that. You have to acknowledge that. Sometimes it's not coming from a logical place, and I think sometimes it's a part of us that feels like it has to be come from a logical place. But she could say, I apologize for cutting you off. I thought you were done. I thought you were done speaking, and I'm sorry that I misread that. I think that could be a sincere apology and then help to move forward. I think both of them have experienced a lot of hurt and a lot of loss. And so where we see Jasmina has this very strong and direct demeanor. That's why she's Miss No Nonsense. And at the same time, it seems, though, that Michael does need some reassurance from her. Like if he were to say, man, I'm just noticing there's some distance between us, as he stated, and so I just want you to know that I am all in this, and maybe in past relationships people felt that way because I'm a quiet guy. And I wonder how he would have responded if Jasmina said, we're just getting to know each other. It's going to be okay. It's going to take time, and we're warm up to each other. It's okay. I wonder how he would have responded if she provided that reassurance. Is it her job to do that? No. In a perfect world, Michael should be able to reassure himself, and at the same time, we're human and sometimes we need that reassurance. And so we'll see how it goes. Both of them are, again, pretty strong personalities. Where he is quiet, he is very much a thinker, he is in his head, and Jasmina is going to say what is on her mind. Next we have Katina and Elijah Wan. Oh, Katina and Elijah Wan. So we see here that they're both, what I see from Elijah Wan, one is, and it was a question for me, I see that he really wants to make this work, right? I feel that way from what I see so far, day 3, bear with me, guys, that he wants to be in this, right? But at the same time, or I should say, and at the same time, I am seeing where he doesn't necessarily have the tools necessary to make it work. Not saying that it's not going to work, but I'm saying that it's going to be a bumpy ride. It's going to be a learning journey. He tends to put these tests in front of Katina. I see Katina getting very weary and tired and agitated from these tests. The test of the workout and him yelling at her and being directive and strict with her. And he was saying he was testing her to see if she's going to speak up for herself. That's not okay. That's not okay. Life will test you enough. You don't need your partner to test you. It seems like he's a question of being genuine. He's like, I know that I'm in this, right? I know that I'm in this 100%. I want to know if you're in this. And because she has her walls up, doesn't mean that she's not in the relationship 100% or committed to this. The same for at the dinner at the end of the episode when Katina, confessed to getting with Lindsey after Lindsey was talking about being triggered again. And he's like, oh, okay, so my wife is really showing up that she really has my back. She's really trying to defend me with her heart. And I wasn't even present. Again, trying to look to see if she really, really cares about him. And testing her, saying that he would do a threesome, in front of everybody, and Katina kind of saying that she wasn't bothered by that, but then him saying, oh, you weren't bothered by me saying that in front of everybody. So he knows potentially that Katina has the tendency to maybe to try to be nice and try to protect his feelings, and at the same time him constantly testing her and making situations where she has to have these these combative moments. It doesn't help to build a foundation of trust in their relationship. He's looking for trust at day 3. Take time. And I see this happening with all of the couples. There's all this like, oh, I want it to work. I want it to work. And it's like, whoo, take some time. But I understand and have compassion for them because this is a quite a big ordeal. Katina is really, really liking the romantic gestures of Elijah Wan, and is feeling like she is definitely in a place where she is falling in love with him, and it's a beautiful thing to see. Also, Katina tried to, in the moment with Lindsey on the boat ride, tried to tell her about how her behavior impacted her and Elijah Wan and the group. But she was so upset and agitated that her words came off very, very aggressive. In the after party, she said she did not mince words, that this is truly how she felt. But Keisha, aka Rudy, did let her know the cultural context of the issue, that you, as a white woman, saying that you're triggered to a black man in a public setting puts him in a space where he isn't safe, and you were under the influence of alcohol and kept pushing the issue over and over and over again and expecting no response. So that is that for them. We shall see. Elijah Wan definitely has a love for Isaac. He may have Isaac is a yesterday, saying that he's done with Isaac. It doesn't want to discuss him, and at the same time discusses him all the time. So there's a love-hate relationship there with Isaac. So I wonder if he's going to show up anytime in their relationship, but I definitely see where both of them are in a space where they are moving forward, and hopefully Elijah Wan will stop testing Katina. Next, Alyssa and Chris. Oh, Alyssa and Chris. Alyssa and Chris. After last week, somehow, or after last week's episode, I should say, because this is only day 3. It feels like it's a week for us, so it's a week for them. But no, it's only day 3. That after Chris has been rejected multiple times by Alyssa, he said he is still hoping for things to work out. I don't know. I understand that he has the desire to want this to work because he wants to be married so bad. But this relationship with Alyssa, I feel like we've come to a conclusion that it's not going to work. She told him verbatim, I feel like I am upset because I feel like the experts got it wrong. That right there, Chris, tells you all you need to know. They had a moment where they paddleboarded together, and Chris kept falling in the water, and she laughed at him. But then later in the episode, she is refusing to go swimming with him. Her mother is having to call her to tell her to go swimming with him because she's concerned about how it's going to look on television, but she's refusing to do so. And then telling the producers that she doesn't want to be next to him. It's very unkind. It's rude. I feel like she's not giving him the common respect that a person deserves in this situation. Yes, it will look bad for you to say I'm not attracted to you, and at the same time, what she's also doing is making herself look bad. She feels like it's Chris making her look bad, but it's really her actions and her being almost passive-aggressive. It's not even almost. Her being passive-aggressive in how she's communicating to him. This relationship isn't going to work, Chris. I'm sorry. I wish that it would work because I did want to make this work, but it's not. And so her trying to spare her feelings, it's like we're doing the same thing with Brett and Ryan. Now, at least Brett was a little bit more protective. At least Ryan was a little bit more protective of Brett's feelings. But in this situation, how she is treating him, it has to stop. It has to. I'm hoping that this relationship is cut short and they can move forward and on. And also, production, please stop poking fun at Chris and how he looks. Okay, because he has to watch this and his family has to watch this, and that's me. All right. Last, Mark and Lindsey. Shout out to Mark. Okay, so Mark tells Lindsey in a gentle way that she's drinking too much when they have a activity to make pina coladas. And he said, you know, you were at the airport, really, and I had to reflect on it. I'm like, Mark hasn't really had a lot of sober experiences with Lindsey. At the wedding, she was under the influence of alcohol. On the airplane the next day, she was drinking. And the after party of last week's episode, we found out that she was having to be told to put her mask on or keep her mask on. She was had to be redirected and told to be quiet on the airplane. And so Mark is taking in this information. It's like, this is way too much. Mark is a very laid-back person. He's more of a caretaker type of person. And so having to take on all of this and making sure that everyone is okay, like that's how Mark shows up in social settings. Like, everybody's good, everybody's good. And his wife disrupts that with her inability to really manage herself. And so he even mentioned that with the gentleman that, you know, he said, her dad told me that I was going to have to reel her in. And he said, I'll only do it a couple times, but you need to be able to reel it in yourself. And I said, okay, Mark, shout out to you. And we also find out that Mark this is not the first rodeo for him in this area, that he also had a past relationship where the woman was drinking, and when she was drinking, she became emotionally dysregulated. So because of that, I could imagine this is like reactivating or re-traumatizing for Mark, where Lindsey is like swooning and falling in love because Mark is such a sweet and caretaking person. She's not understanding how her behavior is impacting him. Now, he's trying his best to communicate with his words. Maybe his actions didn't line up as they did consummate the marriage, and so it's sending mixed signals to Lindsey. And that's how we see at the end of the episode where she is so upset, where she is in a place where she's so confused because she gave of herself and she thought everything is good. And at the same time, Mark is saying that he wants to slow things down. At the after party, we do learn that she did share that she loved him after they came back from the boat trip. So that is why I feel like Mark had to kind of pump the brakes at the dinner to say, hey, let's just slow this down. I think the word to the wise for all of the couples, all 5 couples, is to just take one day at a time. Get to know each other, become curious, try to remove your defenses and to remove like your protective mechanisms, which is hard. I'm not saying that what I'm saying to do is easy stuff, but to take one step at a time to get to know your person. You have only known them for 3 days. And marriage is a long haul. There's no race to the finish line. It's a journey. So just enjoy the ride. Take one step at a time. Don't pull back too soon. Don't accelerate too soon. But just enjoy the ride. Walk with each other. Learn each other. Thank you guys so much for watching. And I will see you guys next week. Of course, be sure to subscribe to the channel. Like the video. Come on, help me out. Go ahead and like it. It's free. And I will see you next week. Take care. Peace.